is Dlamini in between the stakes for South Africa, Huwene, Mbani, Gamedi, and Ramal Lippi from the back four. In the defensive midfield, it is Mugulula, that she play in the central holding room. Mutola, Tamandi, Magia, and Sisani will form that midfield. And up front to be Sobuswene leading the line for South Africa's Bayana. And Kelvin, Desiree Ellis, in the press conference ahead of this game, she said that the target was, of course, to win the final or to be in the final. And this is not what they targeted. But then again, they have to approach this game with a different kind of mentality. They want to win this game.
Well, once you met your target, you would have to settle for less, and I think that is what they would want to do. And arguably, if you've beaten Ghana before, you are defending, you were the defending champions. All you have to do is to make yourself proud by winning the third place playoff game. And looking at this, yes, she can only pride herself by going back to South Africa with another victory over the Black Queens of Ghana in a game that I think, just like I said, carries less significance. But she would want to play for pride, and for some of the ladies in the South African team who would be quitting at the end of this tournament, it is the last opportunity for them to grab one more medal on the continent before they say bye-bye.
And then for Kim last game, he said that with that previous game, they were just unfortunate to not finish up their chances. Do you think that maybe, of course, the team has grown in their ascendancy from that particular game? We've gotten better, according to Kim last week. Do you think he's right to say that?
The team has been very wasteful, and for him saying that, I'm quite disappointed that he's still starting with the players who have been missing the chances. Doris Bodu has been given countless opportunities to prove lethal up front, but she's been very, very terrible. And I think that he could have trusted Priscilla Dubia to start this game, and then at least put another player in there. Maybe Princess and then Alice could have probably started together, and then you put some more pressure on the opponent's defense. But he's still stuck with the ladies, and just like I said, it carries less significance. Hope they prove us wrong.
And so we are underway at the Labis Aloui Stadium in Morocco for the third place playoff between South Africa and Ghana. And the Black Queens are playing from left to right from our point of view in the all-yellow outfits, with South Africa playing in the green outfit, attacking the goal from right to left. And already they are on the attack just in front of the penalty area, and it's a pass that's been played into the feet of Magia. And she's won a corner very early on, 30 seconds gone. And Kelvin, very early, they're knocking on the Black Queen's door.
Well, very, very early. And just like I said, they want to finish the business as early as possible. They wouldn't want to wait, delay, and then it will get too difficult for them. And I think that has been the bane of the Ghanaian team. You put, too much pressure on the team, and then they start scrambling at one point. And that's exactly what they've done in the opening minutes of the game.
And so they have a bit of defending to do already. Magia would take this corner kick to the left-hand side of Ghana's half. 1 minute already. You're listening to us on Sports FM 106.1 in Accra and across our affiliates. I'm doing this with Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. The corner comes in, and it's not been dealt with handsomely by the Black Queens, but then again it comes back out, and the shot from distance from South Africa, yards away from Mutalu. It was not going to trouble Cynthia Conlan in goal. Fell to a 2-0 defeat against Banyana in the very opening game in this particular 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations, and they fell to a 2-0 defeat. But then again, revenge is a dish best served cold, I believe, and so they'll be out for revenge. Meantime, Chantel Bohaloka trying to win possession for the Black Queens on the near side of the South African left half. Comfortable, I will restart the proceedings with that one. And again, Chantel Bohaloka, very early on, she's already engaging in conversations with the referee, Kelvin. We've had conversations about her not, seemingly having to engage every time with, the poor officiating and whatsoever.
Well, I think that she must concentrate, focus a lot more on, the football she's playing on the pitch. I think after the first two games, she thinks she's maybe some superstar or something, but she should calm down. Her team just got promoted to the Premier League, London City Lionesses, and they are playing Arsenal women in the opening game of the Women's Super League in England. So at least she should just calm down. She hasn't gotten to that point, that level, to start, the banters. I think the referees have been a bit lenient on her. This is the game she has to focus. If she wants to prove something extra in this tournament, this is her final opportunity.
So again, you think she might be around for the next particular Wafcon?
Well, yes, it's just a year away. It's in March, less than a year. So yes, obviously she still has that capability of getting back into the team and helping the team to play at that particular tournament. But she needs to keep that level of performance that earned her the call-up into Lars Björkegren's side.
Yeah. And so Desiree Ellis on the touchline, she knows this South African side all too well. In fact, she was she was present when they played their very first game against Eswatini, of which they beat them by 14 goals to nil. And she on that day got a hat-trick all the way back in 1993. And now, a couple of decades on, she's leading the team from the touchline, offering her leadership in form of tactical prowess. Meantime, South Africa on the attack has been dealt with by Comfort Yeboah. And she hooks it upfield. She was looking for Chantel, but then again the pass just runs away and the Black Queens lose custody of the ball. It comes to the halfway line for Gamede. She sends it up long, for which Super Swanee would give chase to. It's cleared away by Comfort Yeboah only as far as Sisane, and she spreads it to the right hand side, but the referee would call the playback for the raising of the flag. 5 minutes gone at the Lavis Alois Stadium. It's still goal between Ghana and South Africa. And very early on, South Africa are the team that are starting to settle into their stride and seeing a lot more with the ball and comfortable in possession.
Well, I think they are going to be the dominant force. They will continue to dominate the game. What the Black Queens need to do is that a few opportunities that will fall, inside the final third of the pitch for them, they need to capitalize and score as many as they can before the South Africans hit their groove.
So we start from the set piece. Doris Bidua takes it down with her chest and she runs into a bit of traffic in the shape of a green shirt, but then again wins throwing just in front of Kim Lasbeck against the area.
Well, happy to see Alice Kusi start on the right-hand side and Stella Nyamicha on the left-hand side. It gives the team more creativity. Players who can take, opponents on, win some free kicks, send in some, very good balls. And I think I like these two on the flanks instead of, the other two, Princess Marfo, that I would see, doubling up on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side.
But then again, it looks like the setup is always having her in the number 10, but then again, it doesn't quite pan out that way. You said the time and time again that number 10 role is lacking.
I think it's for that number 10 role is for Stella. Boy Loka would be in there, playing behind the main striker, but she's always, getting into that position you want to see Doris Bidua. So every time you have two players, filling up the number 9 role, one has to sacrifice. And I think Loka hasn't been able to do that in the last two games, from the quarterfinal and the semi-final.
She's always making those darts.
Exactly, she wants to make them, but if she's making them, which player is going to make those passes? Which I think Asantua is too far off, Boy Loka. So every time she picks up the ball, she has to run a little over about 15 meters before she can find the pass, which I think is not ideal for, your number 10, who should be the link-up lady between the center forward and then those playing on the left and right hand side of the attack.
Well, meantime, Alice Kusi attacking the left half of the penalty area. She sends in a cross. It's headed away in the end. It's picked up by Alice Kusi in the end. She was swinging another cross, and this time around she got her bearings wrong as it goes out for a goal kick.
Well, a goal kick, yes. The first delivery wasn't too powerful to get to Doris Bidua, but the second one, I think the body balance wasn't right. You could clearly see the idea, but the execution wasn't, to perfection. And I think clearly I understand what they want to do, swing in a lot more of the balls inside the penalty area and see if any would drop off for the attackers to capitalize. That was what Nigeria did, and then Andile Dlamini, failed to pick up the ball, and then they had to fall inside the goal, which gave Michelle Alozie that match winner to send Nigeria to the final. So maybe just trying it from another West African perspective of the Southern Africans.
But that was very, it was a late winner. I think in the 95th minute.
Yeah. So that is the time players get a lot more tired. You swing in the ball, it becomes difficult for them to jump or meet it, and they just had to capitalize. And I think maybe Kim Last realizes that the central defensive pair of the South Africans isn't as great as teams he's faced after the first game, and wants to maybe capitalize and try that instead of trying to go through the
middle. Yeah. But you would think that we have the aerial advantage too over South Africa in any case. But then again, play will resume. 7 minutes gone. It's been picked up by Chantel Boyholaka midway through the South African half. And she loses custody of the ball. Super Swanee won it back, but then again, great defending by the Black Queens, and Alice Kusi will play it through on goal for Doris Bedua to chase by Andili Damani's off her line in time just to make that save.
Clever, the intent from Alice Kusi. You see, that is why I always prefer. She doesn't waste too much time on the ball, unlike Princess, who would want to dribble 1 or 2, 10 before making that. But by the time you realize, the defense would have reorganized. But Alice is very much direct. She wanted to make the pass, play behind the defense for Doris, but I think that was very good defensive work there to prevent Doris from having anything on that ball.
And now the Black Queens are starting to go into the game as we're approaching the 10-minute mark. And Susan Duan, the number 3 shirt for the Black Queens, approaching the halfway line, sends it back to Bosha Boachi, who has been very resolute in the heart of defense for the Black Queens, showing her leadership and bringing her leadership to bear out on the field. The veteran, the 35-year-old, who doesn't look anywhere close to 35.
Wow, Portia is 36.
Actually 36.
She's 36, and it's quite surprising her energy levels, the quality she gives, and she's not your ordinary center back, though she's a utility player. You would have expected her in midfield or on the left-hand side of defense, which Josephine Bonsu herself has actually given us loads to be happy about. So I think it just comes with maturity and experience, and I think Portia has been my standout player so far. Though people talk about Grace advancing and all that, but Portia has virtually been without blemish.
In the meantime, Mantani was trying to get it off the toes of Alice Kusi. There was a tussle in there, but then again, Jennifer Kujo picks that one up, plays to the feet of Grace Asantua. But South Africa managed to just nick possession back. It's been a cagey. The ball, no team is quite having time to settle onto the ball, dwell on the ball for quite a couple of minutes within the past minute or so. But then again, possession has been scrappy. A lot of exchanges. And in the midfield, it's been a cagey affair. And then again, that partnership between Jennifer Kuju and Grace Santua has really been fruitful for the Black Queens. The 2 midfield linchpins. Meantime, it's a free kick for South Africa, of which Mbani stands over just in front of the halfway line, sends it back all the way to Gamidi. She's been pressed by Doris Bedua. And now he sends it to the left-hand side, all the way back to the goalkeeper from Mbani. And she's come out to receive that one just in front of the penalty area. And the Black Queens are pressing them in all the way back. They are having to rely on their goalkeeper playing it out from the back. Barney will send it up along this time around. It's been picked up by Mogola. And she runs out of room down the near side just in front of Kim Lars. Block against technical area. 11 minutes gone, Ghana nil, South Africa nil. You're listening to Sport FM's live coverage of the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations. It's the third place playoff between South Africa and Ghana.
And Susan has been, brilliant so far. We mentioned Portia, but, it takes 2 to tango, and I think she's also been one of the perfectionists when it comes to defense, woman for the Black Queens. I was expecting maybe Nina Noshi to be, the best partner for that is Portia, but I think she's really given out her all at this particular tournament. The reason why you see Nina Noshi still on the bench of the Black Queens without any minutes at this particular tournament. I was thinking maybe this final game Nina could have come on or started this game, but the coach knows best. He wants to put everything forward. He's already set his sights on the World Cup qualifiers for Brazil 2027.
So you would think that he would maybe shuffle his part just to give those who have not had minutes in this.
But not at all. He wants it all.
He wants to finish on a high. Kim last up in the Swedish statistician who was installed in 21st of February 2025 to lead the Black Queens all the way to the Wafcon after the departure of Nora Upla. And then again, he's done a pretty decent job up until this point. It's been a mixed bag of results here and there, but then again, it's quite decent.
Well, little did anyone expect Kim Last, especially after those friendly games, the preparatory games before the tournament went terrible for the team. You know, we just couldn't find our feet in any of the games. So questions actually
he even lost his first game against
exactly. So, but you know, he took it on well. He gave us a message which I even doubted that yes, they created lots of goal scoring opportunities, but they couldn't, you know, capitalize on it. But subsequently, they managed to get a draw, a win, and then, you know, that win, and unfortunately, it got to the semi-final, and then they lost. I think he's been able to build a bit on what Nora gave us, and I think that is impressive of him. Hopefully, with a full grasp of the team for a very longer period, up till next year when we play the next Women's Africa Cup of Nations, he should be able to qualify, have a team that plays, you know, with that synergy we would want to see with the Black Queens.
Kelvin, let's talk about the Black Queens with a bit of retrospect. We hardly saw Doris Bedua on the score sheets up until this point. What do you think was missing from the gameplay? Or maybe was it down to the fact that, like again, the number 10 you've been saying wasn't quite linking up with the forwards just enough?
Well, I think that game was just there for the taking. We just decided to profligate, and football punishes you when you decide to miss.
Morocco,
yes, when you decide to miss your chances. But in total, you know, the games that we've played, just like I said, the link-up play, and it was more like he didn't even know his personnel very well to understand the profiles of every single player. Because if I were him, I'll put Portia in midfield, playing in Anoshi in central defense, and push Chris Asantua into the number 10 role.
And Kelvin, we're talking about Doris Bedua, so a chance that fell to her just a couple of seconds ago. It started down the right-hand side to Alice Kusi, who sent in the cross, and it was flashing across the face of goal, and of which Doris Bedua stuck out the foot, but in the end, it was blazed over the top.
She should be disappointed in herself as the you know, top striker who's been scoring lots of goals in Israel. The team was expecting her to actually lead the path in scoring a lot of goals, but even her efforts on target have been very, you know, limited, and that's quite disappointing to see from her. Like I said, between herself, Evelyn Bedu, when they were on the local scene, they were just, you know, difficult to even, you know, tackle. Difficult for you to keep them out of games. And I don't know what has happened. They seem extremely off this particular tournament.
Meantime, South Africa, after 15 minutes, are starting to feel the onslaught from the Black Queens' pressure. But meantime, a rare chance for an attack and a sight of goal for them is down the left-hand side, the right-hand side of Ghana South with Sisani, placed it to the feet of Mutalo, and the flag goes up for an offside in the process. 15 minutes gone, Ghana nil, South Africa nil. Again, you're listening to us on Sport FM 106.1 in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. It is the curtain call for the Black Queens in the third place playoff between them and South Africa. Well, these two, they've met each other a couple of times in 1998, in the year 2000, 2004, 2006, 2008, all the way till now. They've been beating each other 10 times with the, you know, the scoreline evenly poised at 4-4 with 2 draws. And so they know each other all too well. And meantime, the Black Queens have possession in the center circle with Grace Asantua, who has been maybe one of the real live wires in this tournament. And for Lawrence Beard, who is in Morocco, he says that's one of his best players. And Kelvin, who has been your best player?
For the Black Queens, obviously, I've told you, it's what you're watching. Yeah, I would always pick her ahead of everyone. She's giving me lots to find. People look at what Grace Asantua does in central midfield, but I think Portia has been excellent.
And speaking of Portia, she's gone to ground. She's clutching her right chin, the right side of her chin, bit of a discomfort from the knock which she picked up from Madia in that collision. The captain of the Black Queens, and she was gesticulating to the referee that it was the elbow that was thrown at her in that challenge, and South Africa will play out from the back. Mbani, she sends it all the way back to Lamini, who's come all the way from the penalty area to about 20 yards from the penalty area. She's acting almost as though she's playing as a sweeper keeper and helping the defense play out from the back to evade the press from the Black Queens. And meantime, on the attack, they go South Africa. And And the cutback looking for Super Swanee was cut out quite nicely by Grace Santua, and it's played back all the way to Cynthia Conlan. And she sends it outfield. It was flicked on by Chantel, and it's given away by the Black Queens. In the center circle, South Africa retrieve possession. And it looks as though Jennifer Kujo clipped for winning that challenge, and so the referee post playback for a foul in the build-up. Yeah, she did clip it, and on the foot. And so play resumes. South Africa game playing back, and lovely work there by Chantel to retrieve possession for the Black Queens on the halfway line. She pressed her opponent into an unforced error, and she sends it all the way back to Boshabuachi, who's also feeling the pressure from South Africa, and she has to turn to her goalkeeper to play the pass into Cynthia Conlan, who now spreads it to her right as Susan Dia was offering a passing outlet for her back to Cynthia
Looks
Conlan.
like a part of the pitch is a bit wet, so we are taking,
you can see it
taking a
bounce.
question inside the penalty area. And I don't know who watered that pitch. It looks a bit wet at that particular point. The reason why they had to take all the time in the world to make sure they don't make any faulty pass.
And so it's a long pass looking for Comfort Yeboah, who is a rampaging fullback by trade, but then again she's come up against Mo Howene, and it's been booted away by Mogola on the left hand side of South Africa's half for a throw-in in favor of the Black Queens. 20 minutes gone, it's still goalless between these two as Alice Kusi will play it to the feet of Comfort Yeboah with a back heel, and she sends it across. It's headed out by the South Africans quite. And it's back into the feet of now Doris Bedua. She finds Jennifer Kujo looking for options, turns into Grace Santua. She goes charging in front of the penalty area, plays down the right hand side for Alice Kusi to send in a cross. And then again she's looking for a woman in yellow, comes out, and South Africa clear their lines. Only just can they evade the pressure? No. Run into a bit of traffic with Grace Santua again, winning possession for the Black Queens into the feet of Doris Bedua in front of the penalty area with a snapshot, and it's hit against the green shirt. And now she goes down. The referee waves her back onto her feet and says there's no harm in that challenge. And South Africa again, Dlamini having to be the focal point in that back line. They send it all the way back to her sometimes to evade the pressure, and they do just that. They make their way up the field. Sesani towards the halfway line, trying to employ a bit of trickery to get past Comfort Yeboah, but you're not going to use that to beat her. She's been on top of her game up until this point.
Well, maybe Magia needs to get to the Ghana Women's Premier League to look at what Comfort does to some of their opponents. That is certainly not going to be a ball that would get past her. I think she's been brilliant. 18 years of age at this big stage. She's delivered.
Okay, we hold that to South Africa on the attack. It's Super Swanee in the penalty area. She plays into the feet of Sesani, and they play their way back out of the penalty area. It's a cross from the far side, and Cynthia Conlan off her line to make that save, and she dropped it just in front of Sesani in the number 6 shirt for South Africa. But then again, she got it quite nicely. Kelvin, back to you.
Well, that is one of our banes. I think we need a goalkeeper who will be much more confident. Yes, she made those 2 saves from the penalties, but I think
be proud to that, exactly. And even after that,
she's not too confident handling the ball.
And meantime, the Black Queens on the attack is played through on goal. Doris Bedua latches onto it, but she's had to turn her back towards her teammate now because she's feeling the pressure from South Africans, and she boots it against the South African shirt in winter corner for the Black Queens.
Well, that was a very good pass from Chantel Boy-Loka. Unfortunately, it was a very good cover there from Gamede, and then what Doris had to do was just try to get the cutback. But unfortunately, playing against 2 women, Ramalepe and Gamede, one just had to block that effort for a corner kick. An opportunity for them to test and delete Lamini.
A real opportunity for the Black Queens to potentially get into the lead. And a corner for which the captain of the side, Portia Boachi, will stand over. That's the left-hand side of South Africa's half. And she lifts her hands to signal she's about to take the set piece. And Alice Kusi dropping short. The cross comes in, and it's headed in the end by Alice Kusi herself, but then again it was off target.
For someone of her height, you wouldn't have expected her to be inside the penalty area, but she did well. Unfortunately, she couldn't direct, that header. But you can also blame it on that pressure that came, at her, inside that penalty area from that is Gamede, and then that is Holweni.
Yes,
it came difficult for her because she wanted to quickly get her head onto that ball, and that the balance wasn't right. It's a good try.
It's an attempt on goal that sees Zivi Ellis just get up onto her feet to signal to her players that, look, we need a bit of calm heads at the back.
Lots of errors around Andilit Lamini and defense in Bani and Gamede. I don't know whether that goal from Nigeria has actually unsettled them and made them jittery, but the Black Queens need to push. But in as much as they push, they should be prudent with their decision making. One of these errors must count in goals.
And we saw a contest against Morocco after taking the lead. We had, I think, about 3-4 chances that
very decent opportunities, yeah, but they failed to take it in.
Ultimately, it came back to Hunters, as the Black Queens had to pack their bags and call it quits to the final. But then again, maybe one last chance to leave the tournament with their heads held high in this particular third place playoff, as the referee spots a foul on Stella Nyamiche.
The South Africans have made changes to their setup, and the captain couldn't start this game. I was quite surprised that she couldn't really get into the team. Many would have expected her to make that start, but I'm sure, just like I said, given opportunity to the ladies who will be leaving, for Gamede and the likes, yes, maybe they may be saying bye-bye to the tournament. So let's wait and see. There's still that difficulty in the South Africans finding the rhythm which we've seen in the last couple of games.
Well, we've reached the midway point of the first half. A cross comes in from Alice Kusi's headed away just in front of the penalty area. Gola sends it all the way back to Lamini in goal, and she puts it clear. It's flicked on into the feet of Mutalu. Owene picking up the ball in the left back position. Mugola sends it all the way back to Ramalepe, who is with the captain's armband for this particular affair. And she makes her way upfield, crosses the halfway line, and she sends in a long ball looking for the run of Supaswene. But the Black Queens, Josephine Bontu, was there to head that one away. Of the Black Queens, which Josephine will stand over. 25 minutes gone, is still goalless between Ghana and South Africa. As Josephine Bonsu will take this throw in, she does, looking for the Chantel boy. She takes it into a strike quite nicely with a wonderful first touch on the halfway line. She twists and turns, and now turns her direction towards the South African goal, but then she loses possession, and South Africa will pick that one up. Played upfield looking for Supaswene, is cut out by Susan Dio and picked up by Grace Asantua. Spreads it to the right hand side for Alice Kusi. She can't beat her marker in Howene, but then she lets the ball run on to for Comfortable, who swings in across, and Doris Bedua was lacking in there. She got a head to it, but wasn't a firm header, and Stella Nyamiche will swing back. Another cross is headed away again by South Africa, comes only as far as Grace Asantua, and a low carpet strike goes into the goalkeeper's hands, and Dlamini will make a comfortable save.
Well, very good pressure from the Black Queens, but unfortunately the final hit there from Asantua lacked any power to beat, that is Andilit Lamini, because I expected, much more power and pace behind the ball to get quickly past her. She's been jittery in the last 2 or 3 games, and I think all they need to do is to be testing her, with more powerful shots. You never know. She may fluff one and then you have a rebound, or one will just skip through her hands, and then Ghana could have the opener. I think it's been a very better performance from the team that we saw from them in the opening game against the South Africans. I don't know whether it's because of the changes to the South African team. They are also missing something within their midfield. Rufilo Jane, the 32-year-old captain, would have offered them that, but because she's on the bench, you can hardly see them having that opportunity to actually, spin 1, 2, 3 balls through the central position. Mutlao has been left with that duty today, but she's also being policed well by Jennifer Kujo.
Yeah, she's been kept at arm's length and at a short leash by Jennifer Kujo. And that midfield pairing again, players for Kimlas Beckgren's side in the heart of midfield in the engine room. They've worked their socks off and seemingly even worked over time. It's a cross from Jennifer Kujo into the penalty area, and she was looking for Alice Kusi on the head of that one, but it's headed away for a corner kick in favor of the Black Queens. And slowly, they are asking questions of South Africa's backline and defense, and so far they are standing firm and not budging.
Well, the questions, you ask questions, but whenever you are given possible answers, you need to choose the right answer. Well, if you pick the wrong answer, you never get, your answer right. You don't make the score.
And so yes, like Kelvin said, they can rack up as many corner kicks and chances and even possession stats in their favor, but the most important stat is the scoreline, for which neither side has been able to tweak up until this point. 28 minutes gone, across comes in from Portia Boache, and again drops all the way to Susan Dia, but now the flag goes up for an offside. And Kimlas Beckgren is looking rather pensive on the touchline. His team, they stumbled in the very opening game. They started against Mali, and then they stood firm against Tanzania. We were unshaken against Algeria, for which that went all the way to penalty shootout. And against the host nation, they were pegged back and taken all the way to penalties, for which they lost by 4 goals to 2. And now they have it all to do again. And Ghana has finished 3rd times in the Women's African Cup of Nations. Should they win this one, it will be the 4th time they'll finish 3rd in the Women's African Cup of Nations. In the meantime, Alice Kusi runs into trouble as Mutalo picks up possession, and she's bundled off the ball by Jennifer Kujo. And the referee says there was no harm in that challenge, but then again she stayed on the ground as the play continues. Doris Bedua, the midway section of the South African half, and Stella Nyamiche still with the ball, and now the referee would stop the play out of sympathy for Mutalo.
Well, I think, yes, she doesn't know what is actually wrong, but I think the game should have continued. This wasn't, Ghana was on the offensive, so you don't stop the game if it's not a head injury, and clearly that seemed to be a calf, pain. There's some sort of pain in the calf. I don't see why the referee would have to stop Ghana's attack when they were actually hitting momentum. The 10 from Stella should have given the game away, but previously that foul took some time. I think it was close. She was close to the action. You should have given it earlier.
Yeah, so
but once you feel to give it, allow the game to flow, since it's not a head injury, and then
she was the same person with the advantage.
Yeah, so why then come back to that particular play when Ghana was still on the offensive trying to create a chance?
And so the supporters union up in the stands, just cheering the Black Queens on.
You should let us think, when you got to penalty shootout, they were sitting down.
I think we have a penalty phobia as Ghanaians.
That is the time the team needed you the most, and they were sitting down. You should let us think.
Mutalo clutching her left calf.
Or SWAT will be waiting for that option to come.
Maybe she's been carrying a knock and wish she's maybe sticking out to just play it, that knock. And there's been a bit of a cheerful attendance for both sets of teams within the stands as the referee picks up the ball for the drop ball. Referee Shahinda Ali from Egypt. 32 minutes gone. We start the proceeding with the drop ball, and it's picked up by Stella Nyamiche. who was immediately sandwiched by two green shirts, comes all the way back to Joseph Bonsu, and she sent it into the center circle looking for Susan Dia, who picks that up, sends it upfield looking for Alice Kusi. She finds her, and she runs into traffic. She was turning inside, away from the South African goal, and was taking off her toes in the end. And she's having a bit of defending to do. The Black Queens win it back. Risa Santua picks it up. And Alice Kusi now back to Jennifer Kujo. Risa Santua picks that one up now. And she sends it wide. Alice Kusi in the number 11 shirts turns inside with a left foot and goes for goal. But she was not going to trouble Dlamini in goal from that attempt. Way out. It was rather hopeful from Alice Kusi.
Well, I think she could have done better with that. I don't know why we're still chasing quickly for goals when we can take our time to pass the ball and get into the opponent's penalty area.
In the meantime, the Black Queens are pressing South Africa in their own penalty area, as they do manage to just evade the pressure for winning. And Chantel forces a throw in on the near side. The last time these two teams played, it was Linda Mutalo and Jermaine Superswene who got the goals for South Africa. Maybe lightning might strike twice, as they are both out on the field for Banyana. But meantime, it's still goalless with 35 minutes gone and quarter of an hour still to play. And Kelvin, where do you see the breakthrough coming for the Black Queens?
Well, I think it can only come from, the central attacking position. If Wadua can be a bit sharper, can decide to allow her ingenuity come to play, instead of trapping the ball with her back to the goal and passing the ball back into that midfield. She should try a turn or two. We saw that, I think, in the previous game when she made that turn, she made a hit, and I think, though it was blocked, you could clearly see that defenders get surprised by, something out of the ordinary.
It might just take something out of the ordinary to separate these two teams. There's no room for error until this point. Comfortable sent in across, is flicked on by Chantel. Doris Bedua was trying to chase that one. It's picked up by Alice Kusi in the midway point of the South African half. Sends it all the way back to Portia Boachi in the half to defense. Risa Santua forwards the ball on to Josun Bonsu, and Stella Namiche picks that one up. It's a cross-field pass looking for Alice Kusi. And she went for the header. Jennifer Kujo retrieves the possession. Comfortable down the right-hand side, the left-hand side of South Africa's half. She sends in a cross. It was a low one, and they needed a bit more elevation to find a woman in yellow in the penalty area.
I don't understand our attackers. When you decide to head the ball into the goalkeeper's area, they are far off in the penalty area. When you play a cutback into the penalty area, you find them lurking in the goalkeeper's area. There seems to be, poor decision making in the final third of the pitch. Once I put in the cross, I expect you to be able to read and chase it.
And Mutalo looks as though she's shaking off that knock she picked up from the challenge against Jennifer Kujo, and she's trying to send teammate through on goal. She was swinging down the right hand side, and she was marshaled cleverly by Josun Bonsu, but then again it's given away by Portia Boachi. Super Sweeney makes her way into the penalty area, approaching the byline. She cuts it back, and now on the edge of the penalty area, South Africa still having an attacking outlet, but then again Alice Kusi dropping deep to help out defensively and mop up for the Black Queens, showing her defensive side of the game. And Stella Namiche has seen the run from Chantel, and she plays it upfield, and Dlamini again playing as a sweeper keeper. Well pleased to cut that one out for South Africa as they go on the attack again. Restart from the back. Sasani picks it up on the halfway line on the left-hand side. She plays into her teammate Mantani. And now South Africa on the attack, and again Cynthia Conlan doing the right thing to come off her line and make that nick that move in the bud to make sure South Africa don't punish them for that chance.
Oh, she seems a bit disappointed with the defense, but clearly this time around, she managed to save it better than we've seen in previous balls. Sorry for the collision, but she would have to rub it all off and then get back into play. If she can't continue, it will be a very good appearance for Afia Minyaku, who, probably is going to be our future.
Yeah. was a follow-through from that challenge. She was trying to latch onto the ball, but in the end, Cynthia Corner came out just to pick that ball up, and then there was a collision between the two. And it's nice to see a bit of the Moroccans joining the Black Queens in the supporters union for the Jama up in the stands. Do they even know the songs they're singing along to? As the medics rush onto the field to sort out the bit of a knock that she's picked up at the Cynthia Conlan.
No, she should be all right. She should be able to continue with it. And many were asking questions, with her team and whether she was very much ready for this tournament. But I think the Samoas worked on her. Thankfully, she's up and she seems to have wrapped up that book.
So play resumes here from way up on the back for the Black Queens, who again are playing from left to right from our point of view, and they're all yellow outfits. We've seen them play with a white kit just once throughout the entirety of the Women's African Cup of Nations, and South Africa attacking the goal from right to left on our screens. Now, as they have a free kick a couple of meters away from the halfway line, it's taken quickly by South Africa. Of course, it's sent in long, looking for the run of Sisani, who was lurking in at the far post, but it's been cut out by Cynthia Conlan, who came off her line to make that interception. She drops it for Portia Boache, who plays it upfield, looking for Stella Nyamiche. And she's been kept an arm's length by Ramal Lepe. So Stella Nyamiche scored a wonderful goal that was chalked off for offside against Algeria. She'll be looking to get on the end of those same chances if the Black Queens can create them for her. Meantime, South Africa will play out from the back. Owene into the feet of Sisani, back to Owene. It's intercepted by Jennifer Kujo. Exactly on the halfway line, she turns inside, finds Mr. Santua, who plays it forward for Alice Kusi, and now their chances on for the Black Queens. She's pressed it. Oh my God!
Terrible decision making. Terrible decision making, and it's quite surprising that they get into these positions and they just can't make the best, decisions in the final third of the pitch. And that could have been a very, good delivery to find either Chantal or Doris.
It was shaping up to be a very good chance, and then the final pass in the end from Alice Kusi was worthy of a more rewarding outcome. And then against Sisani, has it for South Africa. Wriggles past Jennifer Kujo. She saw the run of Super Sweeney. Magia upfield. She was trying to find them on the end of that pass, but then again it was snuffed out in the end. Comes all the way back to Sisani, just in front of Kim Lasbeck against technical area on the left-hand side. Motalo. Sisani is picked up by Alice Kusi now for the Black Queens. Chantel twisting and turning, and she brings a throw in on the right-hand side of Ghana's half. 40 minutes gone now, the lobbies are Louis Stadium. It's Ghana nil, South Africa nil. Chantel plays it upfield. She saw the run of Stella Nyamiche. It's been read well by Owene. Will drop for Mogalo. Cut out by Krista Santua, who's been a real live wire in the heart of midfield. Chantel flicks it on for Jennifer Kujo, taking off the toes by Motalo. And South Africa now on the attack. Sisani chasing that one down, and Comfortable was at the right place to cut that one out. And Alice Kusi trying to send Doris Bedua up for the chase, but the weight of the pass was just too much for the striker to latch on to.
And it's about the passes, about the weight of the passes, how to just pick up the players or the attackers, with a very perfect pass. That has been the problem. If they manage to set them up and then the strikers start missing the opportunities, there you can blame, the forwards, but not when you are struggling to find them, even if they make a move inside a penalty area. And I think that is problematic. Maybe going forward, Kim Lasberg will have a solution to that in this tournament today. After today, we have qualified.
In the meantime, it's a chance for the Black Queens, and it's just when you thought Chantel was about to play that one through on goal, it's booted away by Gamedi for a corner kick for the Black Queens.
Very good read of the ball there from Gamedi. Yes, the defense will be opened up, but just like I said, it would take lots of grace for you to get past these. Try efforts at the edge of the penalty area.
So far, so good. The defense has been honest to the Black Queens' questions, South Africa's defense. And Banyana, who are no longer the defending champions, they won the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations edition, beating Morocco on home soil for the first time in their history. And this time around, they couldn't repeat that same feat as Lamini drops this ball, and she has to again, through the scramble, pick that one up after she dropped it just in front of Susan Dia, who was potentially going to get in there. But then again, the referee says there was a foul in the process, and she's having a bit of a communication with VAR. She's asking Lamini to pause with the restarts.
Very good save there, brave, very brave there from Mandile Lamini.
She came out rushing just to make sure that there was no scraps to feed on for the Black Queens attackers. 2 minutes to go in regulation time.
They should behave and score in this game. We won't wait for any extra time penalties again.
Joseph Bone to send it all the way back to Cynthia Conlan. And she runs into a bit of trouble there. South Africa might just go in front, and they do go in front. Calamitous defending from the Black Queens has been capitalized by Banyana and Mutandi, who will say thank you to Cynthia Conlan, who gifted it to her on a silver platter. A lapse in concentration, maybe perhaps the weight of the pass from Joseph Bonsu to her goalkeeper was just too much. As in the end, looking at the replay, just look at it, the pass came just in front of the penalty area, and she misjudged it, and in the end, Mutandi just knocked that one. It will be the easiest goal she'll score in her entire career. Kelvin,
it's quite disappointing for a professional footballer who cannot find her feet with this simple pass. It's not like they don't do that. Look at her. She just couldn't read and time the ball. By the time she realized the touch was just poor and it took the ball away from her, then the attacker had to just pick it up. Quite disappointing from Cynthia Conlan to give the ball away. The Black Queens have played everything, and that was what I said about football. If you fail to score when your opponents get their chances, they will convert them and you'll be punished. And the Black Queens have been punished out of no fault of anyone's, but Cynthia Conlan decided to give this one away.
Oh, to be Cynthia Conlan right now, you wouldn't want to be Cynthia Conlan at this point. She failed to shuffle her feet in time, and the pressure from Super Swane made Mutandi just latch on to that loose ball in front of the penalty area. The goalkeeper in no man's land, and the gaping goal at her mercy, and she dispatched it. Where did the Black Queens go from here? With 3 minutes of additional time still to come, and just when you thought that, her Wafcon this particular tournament for her, she's been under a lot of scrutiny. There's been question of her not being able to keep clean sheets. She responded by saving 2 penalties against Algeria, and now a howler from Cynthia Conlan. Look at her, she's looking up into the sky with despair written all over her face. And she's clubless. She's not covered herself in glory in that moment. Kelvin.
If I was Kim Last, I would just change it, bring a few and go. Why would you look at this? Come on, this is terrible to watch.
It is terrible to watch, and it gets even worse every time with the replay. And
Josephine did her part.
Yeah.
So as a goalkeeper, she could have even hit it high up.
You just get
for the ball to be picked up in midfield by anyone, and then the team would have been in their right shape there.
And now the Black Queens are up against an uphill battle. They have to respond. But South Africa, who having, for the past 10 minutes or so, we've seen much of the ball because the Black Queens were piling on the pressure, have a go against the run of play. And a bit fortuitous in the process, I should say, from Cynthia Conlan, who will look to redeem herself as the game wears on. Meantime, the South Africans have the ball, sent all the way back to Horwene in the number 18 shirt. Dlamini comes up to pick up that pass, and Chantel was also trying to force her into an error. Would have been comical had that happened.
You just saw the difference between Ghana's goalkeeper and then the South African goalkeeper. Yes, but that's the truth. That's the truth. Just look at the confidence with which she handles the ball, even if it goes away from her.
Careful to catch a shot. Alice could see on the attack, turning inside, and now with her back towards the South African goal, she finds comfort. Her ball down the left-hand side of the Moroccan, have the right-hand side on our squeeze. And Jennifer Kujo picks that one up, turns away from her marker, trying to buy some space. And again, this time around, she's fuming at the assistant on the far side, saying that she was expecting a throw-in in the Black Queen's favor, but will not come. And we've exhausted all the 3 minutes of injury time in the first half. And the Black Queens on the receiving end of the scoreline. It's not looking good. And the Ellis, who also on the touchline, is looking a bit very, very nervous. She's cut a frustrated figure throughout the entirety of the match. But then again, if you're going to go according to the scoreline, well, it doesn't tell the story according to how it panned out. And again, the Black Queens under a bit of a nervy moment, a bit of pressure. South Africa, they know our backline is a bit jittery when it comes to dealing with the press. And meantime, the Black Queens on attack, and the flag is up. Cynthia Chantel was looking to shoot from distance, but the flag is up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted.
Is she okay too? So if it would have been onside, what was he trying to do?
He was trying to cut the goalkeeper off her line.
Catch the goalkeeper when you had players running up the field, and it was more like a 3-on-2 situation.
And so that will be all for the first half in Casablanca.
That looks like a bad decision from the assistant.
It looks as though Chantel was retrieving from an offside position, but then again, with the benefit of the replay, Kelvin says no. But then the players are making their way off the field into the dressing rooms at halftime. South Africa 1, Ghana 0, and Mandandi with a goal. A very fortuitous goal handed on to her by Cynthia Conlan, who on a day where she was supposed to, help between the sticks, provided a howler. She turned into a provider for that goal. And at the end of what has been the Black Queens on the ascendancy, there's momentum now in the ascendancy and in the favor of South Africans as they head into the break. It is South Africa 1, Ghana 0. And we'll be back just in under 15 minutes time right here on Sports FM to bring you the second half action. So don't go nowhere. Snell out on the field. Kim Lasbjörkegren has gone with Princella Dubia coming on and Princess Marfo also. Princella Dubia coming on and Evelyn Bedu also giving an introduction out onto the field. And South Africa, Molakwana comes on. And Tandy has been taken off. She got the goal and she's been replaced by Molakwana. And so now the teams will swap sides, and now the Black Queens are playing from right to left and South Africa defending from left to right. On our screens,
Stella and Nyamiche Doris Bodua sacrificed.
It looks as though, yeah.
Stella and Nyamiche and Doris Bodua, they have been sacrificed. But they didn't change the bookie back. She should have been the first substitute.
Maybe he wants her to redeem herself.
Redeem herself again. A goalkeeper who has proven she's incapable of handling pressure. You want to keep her in this.
And South Africa on the attack again. There's a shot from the penalty area from Jane. Number 15.
So the captain has come on, and this is going to add a lot of pride to the South African team. Hopefully, President to be an Evelyn Bedu's introduction very early in this game can actually offer something better. I was expecting Stella to continue, and then maybe Loka taken off. You know, she seems tired, exhausted from the many minutes she's played. And I don't think it's quite advisable to be keeping her for that length of time in games.
Rafilo Jani also comes on. So it's two substitutions made by both of the coaches. Just goes to show that they have personnel on the bench should they want to make changes to the team and the way they're shaping up. Meantime, the Black Queens will play out from the back to Simbos who sends it upfield. Princella Dubia giving it a chase. Goalkeeper Lamini sends it back to Mbani, and she runs out of room for a throw-in in favour of South Africa. And like you said, Stella Mitchell has been replaced by Evelyn Bedu, and it looks as though Doris too has been replaced by
Yeah, that's like-for-like substitution, I think, and it looks more like there's been a push from Loka to the flanks, and then Evelyn Bedu is occupying that central position where Loka was occupying. So I asked myself, with that little energy in Loka, you wanted to be moving down the flanks, which I don't think is going to help. Why not keep Stella, who is much more energetic on the flanks, and then allow them to try work the defenders from that point. But maybe the coach knows better. He will want to attack the South Africans more centrally, and that is also another option to take.
That is indeed also another option to take, and Cynthia Conlan was tested very early by Molakwana. In that instance, he was equal to it. South Africa play out of the back. 48 minutes gone in Casablanca at the Labi Zalui Stadium. And South Africa have a lead to protect. Jennifer Kujo pulled back Sisani, and the referee awards the foul in favor of Banyana. Very early on, South Africa are dictating the rhythm and the tempo of the game with a huge spell of possession, trying to draw the Black Queens out of their own half and get them to chase for the ball. It could be an in-game management trying to take the sting away from the Black Queens, as they would definitely like to go on in search of the equalizer. Koshabachi plays into the feet of Chantel, the number 8. Back to Susan Dia. She plays it upfield to no one in particular. Evelyn Bedu was trying to chase. Mutalo picks it up. Kuala. And now Mutalo. Kuala and Mutalo. Malepe on the right right-hand side, the right back for South Africa. Push the ball up against the Black Queen defender and run out for a throw in 15 minutes gone. And the scoreline still stays the same as South Africa with a 1-0 lead over the Black Queens. Gamede. Now the captain, Jane, loses possession. Comfortable put to that field. Alice Kusi will chase it. She's got the pace. Can she latch onto it? She sends in across looking for Evelyn Bedu. And now it's Princella Dubia in the penalty area. She goes to ground. And the referee says there's nothing that challenge, but now he stops it. She stops the play for a foul on Gamede. And Kelvin, Princella offers a different outlet compared to Doris Bedu.
She's strong and, you know, she's very much dangerous, lethal up front than Doris Bedu. Unfortunately, for her injuries, which has kept her off for a very long time, it gives her, you know, that vibe, that sort of sharpness up front in front of goal is missing from her game, and she would need, you know, some time to get it back. And I'm just glad that when she's on, she bundles up with, you know, defenders to leave scraps. But who is going to pick up the scraps? And that is where I think that the coach could have probably left, either you leave Bodua on or you leave Stella on to play in that role. Allow Bedu to operate from the left-hand side, because when she bundles players down, nobody picks up the scrap. And it's been evident from the third game when she came to replace Doris Bodua.
Play a restart from the goal kick. As Princella Dubia was trying to pull the cross back just before the byline, and she ran out of space after a heavy touch, took the ball away from her.
She's more forceful. You just see the energy and the kind of way she plays, that she wants it more, you know. I just hope that she'll be dignified with a goal.
So Princess Antoine battling with Philo Jani, and she wins a foul.
I think the referee initially gave the foul against Ghana, but he just realized Ghana is playing at the opposite side and then had to change her decision. Grace is a very good player, but I think she wasted too much time in trying to stay too strong on the ball. Just make that quick pass, allow the team to quickly burst onto the attack, and they can create a goal scoring opportunity. Remember, you are chasing the game. South Africa are not chasing the game.
Mashawachi sends it down the left-hand side. Chantel swinging across. It takes a deflection just in front of the penalty area, and South Africa clear their lines at the expense of a throw-in. You can sense the urgency in the steps of Chantel, who was quick to pick up the throw-in. And when you are a goal down in search of a goal, sometimes your forwards play ball boys. And now Josephine is taken off her toes by South Africa's Mutalo, who's dropping deep to help out defensively. And again, South Africa, within that tight space, managed to evade the pressure, but then again, they conceded a throw-in from the right-hand side of their own half. Just going to play as a left back for the Black Queens. When she surges forward, Kelvin, sometimes she too, you know, it's paid off sometimes for the Black Queens.
Well, it's paid off, but that's why I think that why don't you get your most dangerous players a lot more on the ball? Every time you get them to, you see them play, it's like they've picked a number of players where they make the passes to. How many times did they feed Alice Kusi with the ball? Yeah. She's one of the dangerous players. She picks up the ball, she's able to dribble, she's able to send in crosses.
I think they trust Princess more than Alice Kusi. What do you think, Princess Marfu? Meanwhile, Alice Kusi has a couple of goals in there. She has two. Speaking of Alice Kusi on the attack, Princella Dubia tries to get past the marker and approaching the byline, but she runs into a bit of a tussle, but she wins a corner down the left-hand side of South Africa.
More urgency, you know, more urgency in the team and more link-up play, trying to create lots of chances. Doing the
targets, and it's a coming together between South Africa player and the Black Queens player.
Comforter, I think Comforter was coming against Sisani. Sisani knew exactly what she was doing. She just, was it Magaya? Sisani. Yeah. She decided to jump into Comfort.
I think it's
she was just smart.
Yeah.
Exactly. But once she tucked the ball past you, it means you've blocked her channel of obstruction. But I think that was very bad from Sisani. If probably maybe these are some of the reasons why they say the VR should be improved to attend to yellow cards, because on any day, just look at that. It was a direct jump, you know, to get her opponent hurt, and I think that is very nasty from Sisani.
So she did outwit her, but then again,
exactly knew what she was doing. If the referee, if the VR is looking at this, I don't know why they are showing the replay countless times. If the VR is looking at this,
it was very cynical.
Exactly. She knew exactly what she was going to do, and it's a malicious intent.
And it looks like Anastasia Echan will be warming up as the stretcher, which anytime it comes out onto the field, you just know that it's not a good sign when the stretcher comes out onto the field. It looks like Comfort might not be able to continue. But then again, it was a knee to her right rib, which can be quite painful. 2 knees, in fact. And she's on the ground wailing in pain. As the medics try to pick her up and place her onto the stretcher. So we're approaching the hour mark with Ghana nil, South Africa having a 1-0 cushion, and the medics doing their best to get Comfort Yeboah down on the far side, up onto the far side to receive treatment, and her body language alone doesn't it signals that she's in pain, Kelvin.
Well, lots of pain, and just like I said, Sisani went with her knee directly into her midrib, and obviously that is quite dangerous, you know, even with.
Yeah, I think it happened back in 2010 or 2014. Nigel de Jong catching Neymar in the back.
Yeah, he knows how to do it. And even de Jong against
Xabi Alonso in 2010.
Exactly, they did it the same way.
So the Black Queens will have to play a couple of minutes, a woman light or a woman short, as Comfort receives treatment. Meantime, Joseph Bontu picks the one up in the midway point of the.
So that means Alice Kusi has dropped to the right back to help until Comfort returns.
And Chantel now comes together with a South Africa player.
And how is that decision going against?
And maybe even the card might be coming out.
Yeah, she's been given the yellow card.
It's quite ironic, don't you think?
Well, I would have to take the replay, but from what I just saw, I think that yes, that it was the South African player who decided to go under Chantel. But let's wait and see.
So Rama Lepe, the woman in question, as Chantel picks up the yellow card.
Come on, that was certainly a 50-50. How do you give a yellow card and a foul for this? Maybe the high knee. If it's this, then Sisani should also get a yellow card and foul against South Africa. Inconsistencies in decision.
I think that's the first yellow card of the game.
Yeah.
The referee has done well to keep her cards in the pocket up until this point. The referee Shahinda Ali from Egypt, as Anastasia Echan would come on to place Comfort Yeboah and slot in as the 3rd centre back in that 3-back system. Kelvin, is it like for like?
Well, it's not necessarily.
Makeshift.
You know, the Meridian runs that you see from Comfort upfield, you wouldn't get the same from Anastasia, but she gives you a very balanced defensive play, and that's what maybe she can offer the team.
So 60 minutes gone in Casablanca, and the Black Queens have been forced into making a change as Comfort Yeboah says goodbye to the Wafcon only just after coming together between her and Sisani. And she gets a very first feel of the ball. Anastasia, since coming on, has been picked up by Molakwana. Possession given away, and now Pinsela Rubia on the chase, picks it up on the left-hand side of South Africa's penalty area, tries to go inside and beat her marker, but she runs into a bit of traffic in the shape of Mbani.
she showed too much to Mbani, and Mbani picked it up. And you know what Adubia gives that you would have from Bodua is a movement through the channels, the diagonal runs to pick up the balls. But the final, touches, I think, just like I said, her injury has kept her off her usual sharpness you would see. If it was Adubia 2-3 years ago, that would have easily been a good take on for a goal.
And a wonderful bit of tenacity there from Jennifer Kujo as she wins the ball back for the Black Queens. Portia Bache picks it up around the center circle, sends it outfield into the feet of Grace Santua, and she will send it to the right-hand side for Susan Diar to control. And she's slowly progressing up the field with a long ball forward, looking for Anastasia. Picked up by Alice Kusi, still on the right-hand side, on the far side. That is the left-hand side of South Africa's half. There's a tussle in there. Sasani shooting the ball, has been pinched by Evelyn Bedu into the feet of Alice Kusi in the penalty area. Twisting and turning, she goes to ground. The referee waves her back onto her feet. She says there's nothing in that challenge. And now South Africa on the attack. Mulakwane up against Portia Boache, and she too, she does well to protect the ball for Mulakwane, who's a substitute coming on in the number 11 jersey for South Africa. But Kelvin, that chance, do you think as though the Black Queens could have made something more from that chance?
Well, they could have, and I think that they just gave it away. But that's why the decision making in the final third of the pitch hasn't been great, and that has been our bane throughout this tournament. And for me, I think we just need to get better. Maybe, just like I said, I'll give the coach the benefit of that. Now she knows the profile of her players, the difficulties with each and every player, and what they fail to do. Let's wait and see what would happen or what would transpire in the next 6 months as he prepares the team for the next Africa Women's Nations Championship in Morocco, same place. But we just saw that action. On any day, Portia Boache would have elected the first pass to go to her goalkeeper. But what did she do? She decided to stay strong because of what happened in the first half. The trust is gone. And you can't have a defense where the defenders
come. And it's a chase for Evelyn to saw Princella Dubia. She picks up that one. And the penalty area is swung in by Alice Kusi, and it's headed away in the end by South Africa. The captain heads it on away. Sisani continues to flick on. It's picked up by Grace Santua. And the Black Queens trying to level the scoreline. Josephine Bonsu picks it up on the touchline. Jennifer Kuju turns inside looking for Chantel. She finds Grace. It's picked up by Grace. And she's surging forward. She's brought down, but Alice Kusi will shoot from distance up against the green shirts. And South Africa again trying to clear their line space. So that will be again on the charge. And again runs into a bit of traffic. But Kelvin, very nervy moment for South Africa.
Well, very nervy, and this is what they've been on right from the first half. Just that our forwards were not, as mobile and forceful as we've seen in the second half. They do, and then Princella Dubia are doing their best to try, peg Ghana back into the game to make it 1-0. And you can see the intensity and the momentum is still with Team Ghana, and hopefully the Black Queens can take advantage of that to get the equalizer.
It's a corner kick for the Black Queens. They flooded the penalty area with yellow shirts. As Portia Boache would stand over this one to take it. Meantime, the referee having a bit of a talking to with the players in the penalty area. She says too much shoving is ongoing. As the cross comes in, it's a low cross and it's headed. The contact was there, but in the end, off target.
Well, that was very great delivery. Susan rose very well. I was thinking that would have easily been a connection to it. That was Evelyn Bedu once again. Not the tallest of players, but she seemingly gets to every single ball or most of the deliveries that gets into the penalty area. The connection wasn't great, but I think, yes, they just need to push high up. Hopefully they could get it.
And hopefully they could get it as the game continues. Minutes gone, and the quest for the equalizer for the Black Queens goes on as South Africa are defending. field for South Africa. Picked up by Super Swanee. She's seen the run of her teammates. Sisani down the left-hand side, the right-hand side of Ghana. Stick half, and Alice Kusi again tracking back to help out and mop up defensively. Cross comes into the penalty area. Joseph Bonsu needs to get rid of that ball, and she does just that.
Easy that to go the simple way, clear your lines, get back into your shape, and try to see what the opponent would want to do subsequently. I think those are the basic principles of defending. You couldn't get them right in some of the games, but for some of the players, Josephine, they know the basics, they know what wouldn't put them in difficult situations, and I love that one from her.
Sometimes you just need to clear the ball out of, should you say desperation, just clear the ball, Kelvin. Don't put yourself in any sort of trouble. But sometimes it can come back. Some teams have considered corners in the name of clearing the ball, and then again, from that set piece, the team gets back. Speaking of getting back, Princella Lubia on the chase. She's been very, very, very full of pace since she came on across from Chantel into the penalty area. It's headed on by Alice Kusi, and it's bundled over the line by the Black Queens. The equalizer has come, and it's from Alice Kusi.
Brilliant goal from her. That was a perfect delivery there from Chantal Boyd-Locker. And once it was sent in, the South Africans were in wonderland which player to pick, because Evelyn Bedu was also running inside the penalty area. And Alice just stole those moments behind the defender, and then got, the first touch to the ball. And Dillet Lamini tried to keep it out, but it was just too late as Ghana got the equalizer. Brilliant delivery. Chantal with the left foot. Alice, yes, even with the back of her head, not the greatest of leaps you would want, but with too much strength that Mbani couldn't, prevent her from getting a very good connection to it. Brilliant work from the Black Queens, and that is what persistence gives you. If you are persistent, if you make the right decisions continuously, this is what it offers you.
There's 3 goals to her name in this competition. So far, so good for Alice Kusi. And she's come through clutch for the Black Queens. It's similar to the goal she scored against Tanzania or Mali, one of those games. The same kind of a scrappy play. She headed it in there, had to get over the line. But even Gambene could not get it over the line in time. And 68 minutes gone, Ghana 1, South Africa 1. And we have a real game on our hands now. It's anyone's game at this point.
Well, certainly at this point, I think that the Black Queens should just ride on that momentum, keep, pushing South Africa to their back, and then hopefully they can crumble, just like you just saw. Once you push them, you force lots of errors, and decision-making becomes more difficult for them. And you can.
Speaking of decision-making, there was a flick on in a very nervy moment from Susan Ria, but then again, Cynthia Conlan was alert to the situation. She has to be alert if she's trying to also redeem herself from that early giveaway late in the first half. And 17 minutes gone in Casablanca, the Labiza Louis Stadium. The Black Queens, just what the doctor ordered for them, and just what Kim Las Björkegren would have hoped for. And meantime, South Africa on the attack, and the referee spots a foul just in front of the penalty area, on the edge of the D, and Portia Boache with the hands behind her back. She's pleading her innocence on behalf of her teammate Susan Dia. I think it was a last woman challenge coming in there from Susan Dia.
Well, I think, yes, she just had to make one tactical foul to take one for the team. And she did that perfectly. She knew the moment was quite dangerous, and Ghana getting the equalizer, they couldn't have quickly gotten another goal. But just look at that run. Yes, she just wasn't going to be the... Oh, very unfortunate. It could have easily been a red card.
Yeah.
The VAR may probably try to review it, but we'll wait to see if the referee and the video assistant referee are going to change their mind. But it doesn't look like it. But let's still wait. Any decision could come in at any point.
And so it's a free kick in. Promising position for South Africa as Susan Dia gets into the referee's book. And Cynthia Conlan is signaling that she wants a 4-woman wall to protect her goal. The referee is talking to the players and trying to tell them that she doesn't want any form of encroachment when it comes to the free kick as well. It's a free kick for the captain. Philo Jani stands over. She looks like she's the prime candidate to take this one. 70 minutes scoring in Casablanca. And a chance maybe for South Africa to get back in front from this set piece.
Well, Refilo has that capability to hit from such a distance.
Refilo Jani. Up steps Refilo Jani. And side netting from her. We gave it a big build up. She was close.
Yeah, the wall did its job. And once you set up a very good human wall and they decide not to be cowards, they definitely...
It was set away by Chantel.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the replay. And it's a corner for South Africa. On the left-hand side of Ghana's half. And defenders are making their way into the penalty area to offer themselves as aerial threats from the set piece. The cross comes in and it's headed away. Booted to safety again by Evelyn Bedu. At the expense of a throw-in on the right-hand side of Ghana's half, down by the far side. 18 minutes to go in Casablanca. And Super Swanee, the number 12 shirts, pulls it up, plays into her teammate Sesani on the edge of the penalty area down the right-hand side, trying to twist and turn, but she runs out of room. It will be a throw-in in favor of South Africa as it came off a woman in yellow. Winning the number 18.
I don't know what is keeping the referee's focus away from the ball. That was a decision that should have gone against South Africa, but because she looked away, she just decided to give it the other way.
And Super Sweeney has been found. She cuts it back and is booted away by Portia Boache. Evelyn Bedu was going to chase that one. She does well to pick it up. She sees the run of Evelyn Bedu up ahead of her. Priscilla Dubia. On she goes, up against two. She's seen the run of Chantel making her way into the penalty area. Here's Priscilla Dubia. She's being marshaled. And in the end, the tussle for the ball sees her run out of steam in the process.
Well, I don't know why she decided to go for that hit when she could have probably taken her time to wait for more players inside the penalty area. This time out, just look at the replay of the goal again. She took all the time in the world to wait for Chantel. Chantel sent in that delivery, and that ball just went past the goalkeeper and Dili.
Alice Kusi with 3 goals to a name so far in the tournament. One from a header and a scrappy play, the other from a penalty, and now another from a header with 17 minutes still to go. And South Africa flirting dangerously with the press from the Ghanaians as Chantel is tussling for the ball. She wins it back, but the referee says too much of a bump in that one.
Well, the whistle had already gone for a throw-in, but I love that sort of resilience from Chantel. She never gives up. Determined to win every single ball and try to create a goal-scoring opportunity from it.
We're approaching the last quarter of an hour. Ghana 1, South Africa 1. You're listening to us on Sporty FM. 106.1 in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. My name is Emmanuel Adam. I'm doing this alongside Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. It is the Wafcon Templates playoff between South Africa and Ghana. And Kelvin, I think things are taking a troubling turn. Sesani coming together with Portia Boache, and tempers are flaring. And the referee is asking them to embrace each other and sign a peace treaty out on the field.
Not all peace pacts are peace pacts.
And Portia seemingly doesn't understand why Sesani was a bit cynical. And so the play will resume for a free kick. Deep inside the Ghanaian half is sent upfield. Alice Kusi chasing it. It's hot clear. Only as far as Evelyn Bedu, and now Priscilla Dubia with a snapshot to the right-hand side of the goalpost.
She gives everything she wants, and that was even not the very best of, controls and contacts to the ball. She had to just slide, one in from a tackle. And I think I love that sort of, energy up front, troubling defenders, giving them a hectic time,
rushing.
Exactly. That's what she's been doing. Unfortunately, she had two ladies in front of her and was trying to find the best option by getting the ball, not hitting them, and they decided to go wide. Ghana dominant in this game is just left with the final goal that would win them the game.
And now they're playing into the goal scorer, who's now looking to turn into a provider with a cross. He finds Princella Lubia, and her header again had a bit of elevation on it, too much elevation on that one.
Well, too much elevation on that one, and you could understand where she was coming from. It was more like a floating, ball. So she just had to add some bit of, energy to it, some pace to it, and it just had to fly high up. Gradually, consistently, Ghana getting in. You just saw Alice. She does the simple things. Quick cross, quick pass, run into the opponent area. And I think that is what has given, the Black Queens that opportunity to test the South African defense a lot more times than they did in the first half.
It's shaping up to be a dramatic end to what has been a very, very, very cagey affair between these two teams. They know each other all too well. In fact, they played each other in the very first game on the Group C game, which South Africa came out 2-0 winners. And then again, revenge will certainly be on the minds of the Black Queens. The last time they faced each other in the 10th place playoff was in 2016, and the Black Queens emerged victorious in that particular clash. As on the attack they go again now with Alice Kusi for the step over, and she boots the pitch instead. She boots the field, and she miscues that challenge, that cross. South Africa play out from the back quite nicely. Swane drops deep into the heart of midfield to get a feel of the ball. Sisani sends it to Motalu. Ramalepe, Nahowene. On the attack they go down the right hand side. Alice Kusi, she's beating out Anastasia, and South Africa with a chance maybe. And then again she was sandwiched by the Black Queens. Make sure that chance was not taken. 12 minutes still to go in Morocco. Sisani picks up the loose ball, sends in a long ball. The run was being made by the South Africans, and Boshabashi this time around boots it to safety. Was not going to let anybody latch onto that loose ball, and that rebound in the penalty area as Evelyn Bedu is chasing down the long ball upfield. South Africa seen the ball within the past 2 minutes or so. Crossfield pass, and yes, a signal to the referee as a flag goes up down by the near side.
Well, the Banyana are gradually trying to get back into the game. You can see from the last 2 minutes they are trying to see if they can float the ball a lot more high up into Ghana's defensive end, because they understand, yes, once it bounces off you, communication between the goalkeeper and the defender is a bit problematic. So that is what they are trying to do, to try and settle the defense. In the last 2 minutes we've seen, it's going to be a close end to the final 10 minutes. Any of the two sides who decides to take their chances that fall to them would run away with the ball.
With 10 minutes remaining, which of these teams will throw caution to the wind, would go for that winner and go in search of the winner to separate these two? We need a goal to put clear daylight between these two teams. And which team is it going to come from? Matani capitalized on an error from Cynthia Conlan just before halftime to put South Africa in front, and it took a brave and towering header from Alice Kusi to restore parity as South Africa have a corner down the right hand side of Ghana's half. The cross comes in, and Cynthia Conlan had to make a save just on the edge of her line.
No, that was quite a pretty poor one from the South Africans. I expect them to actually force Ghana. They haven't asked too many questions of Ghana's defense, and it's quite surprising to see the 2022 winners not being able to give exactly what they had to,
You do feel as though had that not been for the Cynthia Conlan's error, maybe this game would have had a different outlook.
Well, it could have been difficult for them to come back into the game, but I think I love what I'm seeing from the Black Queens to not giving anything. Well, Portia gets herself into the books of the referee.
And not just Portia. Yeah, Portia for a foul on Sisani.
No, she deserved one. And I love the time that is come.
10 minutes to go in Morocco at the Labis Ali Stadium. And look at the save on the line. Yeah.
Oh, that was too close. That was too close, but I think she couldn't have fluffed this. She couldn't.
Had this one gone, it would have been a very...
This is more like a routine save for any goalkeeper, you know. And you look at the Black Queens and the sort of goalkeepers we've produced over the years, from Memuna to Sulemana to Fafali Dumeati, Nanama Santua, Patricia Mante. I think this current generation of goalkeepers are not top. You know, Memuna too was heavy, but hardly could you beat her with some of these balls and, you know, poor decision making.
I think it might be checked for that play.
No, it's not going to be checked. The ball did not cross.
Yeah, you can see a couple of men in the stands. They might be just feminists. They support the women's game at this point.
Well, it's good to support. It's good to support the women, and I think that yes, they want the women game to develop. But even the ladies themselves, they don't like watching their own game. Ask yourself, how many of our Ghanaian women have been talking about the Black Queens? When it gets to Black Stars game, then they are all over the space, social media, everywhere, to the X, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, making noise. But ask yourself, how many of them have followed the Black Queens religiously to even talk about them? Zero. So they themselves must improve on their game, you know. Maybe on our continent. Yeah. Elsewhere it's different. You know, Arsenal is yet to start the new season, but they've already sold 15,000 tickets for their first game against the London City Lionesses, where Boy Lockup plays.
Yeah. So they're a bit more proactive.
Exactly. And you know, it's a conscious effort. You know, once you don't make it, and for the ladies in it, if it gets to Black Stars game, they tweet and write. Yes, some of them, you know, act like they can kick the ball, but the Black Queens, they've been quiet. They don't even tweet match day. You know, that's quite disappointing to see. But they are the same people who come and say you don't support the women. The women, what marginalized? What is marginalized? Support. Do it before, you know, people can follow you. I'm going to X.
It's a moment of respite for these two teams as we had quite a lengthy break. Sasani has been taken off and she will be replaced by...
I'm glad she's also off due to an injury. Yes. If you inflict pain, you just need to exit also by pain.
Number 23 for South Africa, Donnelly, also comes on. For the Black Queens.
So it looks like Susan cannot continue. Amadia is off.
Susan Amadia come off.
And then Niwa, yeah, Louisa gets to replace Susan. So I think it's just a like for like. The 22-year-old defender from Valadares just comes on in to replace Susan. And I think yes, it's hopefully she can do exactly what Susan gave. She's a very young player, and I think from Portugal, the women's league, that also gained lots of prominence. Yeah, she can use her experience to help the team in the final moment of this particular game.
And so 5 minutes still to play. Casablanca, and the seconds are ticking as the game wears on. Still 1-1 between Ghana and South Africa in the third place playoff. They might just be staring at extra time, maybe even penalties. And Anastasia with a hopeful clearance in the end. Donnelly with the first piece of the action on the penalty area, and she fouls Grace Santua in the process. The referee was in close proximity and she pulls play back for the foul. And Donnelly, very early, you can tell she's going to be very ferocious in her challenges.
Well, I think they are eager to get the victory, you know. But any player you can trust to keep the ball, you know, that you wouldn't have worries of losing it is Grace Santua, and I think she does well. You know, every time she has possession of the ball.
And so I think 2 players on the Black Queens team have been stretched off or been forced off. We saw Comfortable make her way off, and now Susan Amadia also has to come off. Comfort was replaced by Anastasia Echan. And
so 2 changes to Ghana's back line.
Yeah, and now Louisa Iniwa will get a run out in the last knockings or so of regulation time. That is in total 4 changes made by Kim last week, with changes up front as well, with Evelyn Bedu and Stella Dubia also coming on.
Well, I think it's quite, impressive to see from Kim last week again. The team have several changes up front and in defense, but it looks more like they are still well bonded and they are playing as expected.
Sends Princess Olivia on the chase, and the weight on the pass again was just too much for her.
Why didn't she just go direct with the pass instead of trying to go, extremely diagonal with that ball? I think that it would have been much more fair. Kim last week great complain. This is the first time I've seen him wear a black jacket. The previous games
it's been great.
Yeah.
But Kelvin, I think something I've noticed, he's very tall.
That is a 7'1" 1-inch coach you are looking at.
He's very tall.
Basketball player.
I think during the penalty, before the penalty shootout, he was taller than almost every player out on the field.
Yeah. That is a 7'1" you are talking about.
Oh, that is height for you. And so 2 minutes to go in regulation time, 88 minutes played at the Labis Ali Stadium in Morocco, and the Black Queens trying to get that winner just before regulation time ends. And the serialist on the typical area of Bayana. She's looking at the referee with glee written over her face. She's surprised at some of the calls that have not gone in favor of her team. Boots it upfield. Anastasia back into the path of Alice Kusi. Can she get past Hoene? She sends it all the way back to Anastasia, who makes a darting run infield. Lucia Santua trying to go with a lob ball into the path of Evelyn Beru, and again Dlamini off her line to make that one. That interception. Talo loses custody of the ball. South Africa won it back, send it all the way back to Dlamini again. And she puts it upfield with 1 minute and some seconds on the clock still to go in regulation time. South Africa on the attack now. And in the end, Louisa cuts that one out. Josephine plays into the center circle where there was no one there to pick up that pass. Anastasia again well stationed to help out defensively as Alice Kusi offers that route for the pass, and then the long ball forward for Pensela Idubia to latch on to, making the way into the penalty area with a shot on goal. And from that far out, she doesn't test Dlamini and between the sticks for South Africa.
That was poor decision from her. Evelyn Bedu was quite in a very good position. Just spread the ball across the face of the penalty area. And it could have easily been. She was onside. You get it. So in that quick touch, just send the ball across the face of goal instead of trying to go, for the shot on target yourself.
And so we are seeing 6 minutes of additional time being added on by the fourth official. And the referees themselves, they've had a good game in this particular affair. It's not been too robust. and they've not had to really show too many cards. And the anxiety on the faces of the South African bench as they watch on. Meantime, South Africa is picked up by Super Swin, and she drops deep to have a field of the ball. On the center field, Donnelly is giving pressure to Portia Boache, who plays into the feet of Anastasia. The Black Queens play out of trouble. Louisa Aniwa is again under the cosh, surrounded by green shirts. She does well to wriggle away from that tight situation. Passes it back to Portia Boache, who hoops to that field, looking for the run of Alice Kusi. She's giving it some chase all the way back to the goalkeeper, Dlamini, and she boots it to safety only as far as Lowene, and she gives possession away to Jennifer Kujo, and under attack, the Black Queens go, and the cross that was not dealt with quite comfortably by Dlamini.
You see what I talk about? The goalkeeper isn't as great as you want to see it. So why don't you get, you know, those simple deliveries inside the penalty area?
The goalkeeper was very, very much off her line, and there's a goal kick for South Africa. 2 minutes gone of regulation time, 4 minutes still to go in Casablanca, and as it stands, we are staring down a potential 30 more minutes to separate these two teams.
And that is going to be a toll on Team Ghana, which means that right from the quarterfinals to this third place playoff game, they played 120, 121, and let's not forget you've made 4 substitutions already. You may make one and then maybe another one in extra time because of how they call the game. You have an extra sub to make in extra time, and it wouldn't be good. How many players can you allow to play? We saw how difficult it was for Boy Loka to continue that, even Josephine Bontu, Portia Boache. Now you're thinking about the strength of your team. And I think that they should try and finish, the opportunities, if any, falls to them, because this is going to be an advantage to the Banyana.
Speaking of Banyana, Super with a chance on goal. Cynthia Conlan gathers that one, and she has to just let the ball down and restart the play with a sense of urgency, but she's held on to it for some time now, and now she sends it outfield into South African territory, giving the ball and possession back to Banyana. It's won back by the Black Queens. Jocelyn Bonsu picked up by Chantel, looking for Grace Asantua, who does well to pick that one up, and she can't quite evade the press, and she was surrounded and sandwiched by, again, green shirts. Alice Kusi wins the ball back. Proper tenacity for you from the Black Queens winger. She's trying to conjure something up down the right-hand side, up against Howene, that's in his field, and it's booted away by the South African defense, only as far as, again, Louisa Aniwa. Portia Boache picks it up on the halfway line. Justin Bonsu loses possession, and Donnelly for South Africa now. Portia Boache takes it off her toes. Jennifer Kuju picks that ball up, and it's given away again. There's a bit of yours, mine. You can take it, I'll take it back, you can take it, I'll take it back by both of these teams within the last knockings of the game, with 2 minutes still to go in that injury time. The Black Queens trying to finish the game on the ascendancy as it stands. Evelyn Bedu twisting and turning with the back to go. She's trying to play it into Alice Kusi, but
it's quite surprised they don't want to do the simple things that got them the goal. But rather, everyone is trying to take 1, 2, 3, or 4 touches.
And Louisa Nua does well to maintain hold of the ball, and Portia Boache boots it upfield, looking for Chantel. All the way up to the halfway line. Princella Dupia picks that one up. On the attack she goes, making her way upfield. She's brought down by Andy, and the chance is still in the offing for Evelyn Bedu, and she hits the woodwork. It comes back out to Alice Kusi in the penalty area, in South Africa just clear their lines.
Evelyn Bedu has been disappointing. Wow! She does all the hard work, but if you are not able to convert to the opportunities, it's waste. How this is recorded as off target. It's not on target. It's regarded as off target.
And what a chance to go into the lead. Kelvin, it was a very, very, very good chance to be taken. And it looks as though it's the end of the road for Grace Asantua as she's coming off. It fell nicely for Evelyn Bedu.
How do you miss this? That would have been the end of the game.
With seconds remaining on the clock, she hits the woodwork. In fact, she hits the crossbar.
I do want to go for the spectacular.
You just need to caress it beyond the goalkeeper at this point. Well, I'm not a footballer. And so the referee blows this one into the history books with extra time to come. And Evelyn Bedu just immediately went to ground. She can't believe the chance she missed, hitting the woodwork with seconds, literally seconds on the clock. But then again, the Black Queens doing very well to claw their way back from a goal down to restore parity, courtesy of a goal coming in from Alice Kusi. And Kevin already look at Evelyn Bedu, she's in tears.
She has to be in tears because this was an easy opportunity for her to grab the match winner. But she should pick herself up. I don't know, that was a simple placement, but she decided to go for the spectacular.
Her teammates doing their best to console her. Cynthia
She understands. She understands. I don't know why she's crying too, but she should definitely understand, you know, that this is a game of football. Just like she missed the penalty and she had another opportunity. She should just do the needful the next time. I don't know why is she crying about? When she missed the penalty, she didn't cry, but this one that she's crying.
Wow.
Look, I thought that ball had entered the net.
Agonizingly close for Evelyn Bedu, and you can see already shake of the head from the forward. She knows she could have done better.
You can see Anita Redu Minta and then Nasamu trying to just talk to her. Lady, just continue with what you are doing, and then the goal can probably come in extra time. So, you know, it's quite difficult. I don't know if they are going to just play the
Penalties or maybe
early penalties, because it looks more like they are also trying to pick up, you know, the. Let's wait and see what happens. We don't know the decisions that will be made, but if they are playing another extra time. Then.
Alice could see in your shot, she looks very bewildered. She can't believe that chance. I think it might be penalties.
Obviously, yeah. They wouldn't want to stress them.
And I can now understand why Evelyn Bedu is maybe in tears.
If she can't play the penalty, she shouldn't cry and demoralize the team.
Yeah. That
is poor from her.
It sends out the wrong
message.
It's
a defeatist mentality.
And Cynthia Conlan also looking very pensive as the coin toss for the penalties. If it is a penalty or penalty shootout, as Ofilo, Johnny, and Portia Boache, two veterans of the women's football game.
All right, so South Africa won both tosses, and it looks like they're going to take first, and then Ghana would have to be in the post first. So let's wait and see. Penalty shootout. Evelyn is crying. She doesn't want to play the penalty.
Also, we were in the penalty shootout against Algeria, against Morocco, and now against South Africa. And the penalty shootout is anyone's game. You just hope that your team converts from the spot. You hope your goalkeeper can make a miraculous save. We saw Cynthia Conlan do that against Algeria. Can she repeat the same heroics in goal this time around? And Dlamini herself is a good shot stopper for South Africa. And so brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are listening to us on Sport TFM, buckle up, because it is an impending penalty shootout in every moment. And Kelvin, the supporters union again, they've lost their voice.
If it gets to penalty shootout, it's like someone will come and tell me, you know, I wrote it and someone told me on Facebook that Ejumane enough for more. Yes, Ejumane enough from. That is why you are sent today. You are taking per diems, you are being fed, you are being accommodated, and you tell me Ejumane what? Then you should have sent the university boys there to go and sing and chant.
Yeah.
We do Jama every Friday. In schools. We do over 2 hours continuously. You play 45 minutes, you rest at halftime, you come and play for 45 minutes, then you rest. You people are saying you are tired. You are tired of what? This is the moment the team needs you.
South Africa's Mutalo will be the first to take the sports kick. I think she was the very first to take the game against Ghana in particular. She converted from the sports kick in our game.
Is that? Who?
Mutalo.
Yeah. Very, very, very good with the ball, and you know, even against Nigeria, when they got a penalty, she stood up and she converted to make it 1-0. But let's see if Cynthia Conlon can do some justice. What is the referee saying plenty like that? She should just go and play the kicks.
And so the penalty shootout is upon us with Linda Mutalo, the number 10. The ball just on her head as she waits, a long wait for the spot kick. Linda Mutalo up against Cynthia Conlon, shoulder to shoulder, face to face. For the third prize medal. The first to take it for South Africa. Up steps Linda Mutalo, and she finds the bottom corner. And Cynthia Conlon again was rooted to the spot, but then again you do feel as though she was maybe going to leap for that right corner. But Mutalo converts from the spot kick for South Africa. It was a good taking, well-taken penalty. And now the Black Queens have to respond in equal measure, and Chantel Boy-Roka will be the first to take it. Well, she is confidence personified throughout the entirety of this tournament. She started quite nicely and then she ran out of steam towards the last couple of games. But now from the sports kick, up steps Chantel Roka, and it's saved by Dlamini. She ran from the bottom corner, the right-hand side, and South Africa's Dlamini got a hand to it to keep it out. Kelvin.
Well, it was too close to her. Though she hit it quite low, but I think it was just too close to, not too far away from her.
The height on it was perfect.
Exactly, she did little to save it. If you look at how Botlao played her penalty, it was just far away, low and far away from Cynthia, who is quite tall. So I think, Loka didn't do herself any good with this.
And now will be the turn of South Africa as Mbani steps up, the defender, up against Cynthia Conlon. Mbani into the back of the net, it goes for South Africa.
They will send Cynthia the wrong way for most of the cases if she decides to move first. So they take all the time in the world, and just look at her step.
Oh, she picked the spots, went to the right-hand side of...
And with power and with pace.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, it will be difficult for you to save that.
And the Black Queen's leader of men, that is Kim Lars, is looking very, 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 very crestfallen on the touchline. And it's a long walk to the penalty spots for Alice Kusi, who will be the second to take for the Black Queens. 3 goals to a name throughout the entirety of this tournament. She's already converted from the sports kick. Up against Dlamini, who saved the attempt from Chantel. And now Kusi to do what Chantel failed to do. Easy does it for Alice Kusi. She went to the left-hand side, and Dlamini went to her right. And a lifeline maybe for the Black Queens go.
That's a well-taken penalty, with power, with pace, and sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. She did that with great conviction.
In the previous shootout, she also scored from that.
What is she doing? Why do they all decide to go down when they miss their kicks?
Maybe she's praying.
Praying where?
Maybe she's praying.
If prayers could have said that, she had to pick up the ball, say the prayer before she can get it.
And I think Howene will be the next to step up to the sports kick. The right back for South Africa in the number 18. She's a midfielder by trade, but in this defensive backline, she's been playing as a right back. Sibulele Howene She's looking straight into the eyes of Cynthia Conlan as she's preparing to take this spot kick. It is Howini with a stuttering steps. Howini. And it's saved by Cynthia Conlan. And Chantel's brushes have been saved. You can see her rejoicing.
She's quite
on the halfway line.
She's quite lucky, and I'm surprised why she was still down, because it can demoralize your team. Just keep the faith, you know. But I think you know that she didn't let herself go with that kind of run to the ball. I've never seen this.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw it was Pogba.
Yes. So Baga couldn't tell. That was quite poor. Why? Is she going to turn, you know, the pitch into a Friday night prayer session?
Have a look at Kim Lasbeke on the touchline. I think it's now the turn of Josephine Bonsu.
Oh, she's far off. The last time she played the first kick.
Up steps Josephine Bonsu. And she does just that.
The German way.
To the right hand side of Dlamini. With power and conviction.
The German way. Philip Lam. What Philip Lam will play. What Michael Ballack will play. Exactly, and she just tells you where she's coming from. The mentality is so great. She picks her spot. You get it. It's far away from the goalkeeper. Far away from the goalkeeper with power and with the height. And delay is shorter, so you don't expect her to have a full straight to that.
Well, they will celebrate that one, and look at Desiree Ellis on the touchline.
The pressure turns to them now.
Yeah, these are moments to save at the penalty shootout. It's very, very nervy moments. But then again, South Africa now with Hilda Magia.
Okay, so it was Howini who missed the previous
miss. Yes, Howini missed the previous miss. And now number 8, Hilda Magia up against Cynthia Conlan. And here's Magia, and it's saved by Cynthia Conlan. 2 saves. 2 shot-stopping saves by Cynthia Conlan from the sports kick.
Well, clever from her. And you know, I think that the South Africans had picked one spot just to go to her right. But she died to, you know, she couldn't move, you know, to the right in the first 2 kicks. So they were thinking, oh, come on, let's place it all there, and she's going to move. But that is great for me. But it was too close to the goal.
It was too central. Too central.
Yes, but she picked the right dive this time around. If she had gone left, that would have been a good penalty for them. So Ghana with the advantage now. You score, you put South Africa in a very tight corner.
And Hilda Magia. Up steps Jennifer Kujo for the Black Queens. Jennifer Kujo, the deputy captain of the side, who missed the first game. Jennifer Kujo, and it's saved by Dlamini.
What sort of penalty was that?
Dlamini gets the direction right. She went to her left. It was low and driven, and she got 2 hands to it. And now she's nodding to her teammates that she's keeping her side in contention.
That was quite poor from Jennifer.
And so
that was quite poor from Jennifer.
Both of these teams have missed 2.
Well, is it a replay? Yes, a replay. She was off her line. Both feet were off the line. So a replay for Jennifer Kujo.
And so it will be a replay for Jennifer Kujo according to referee.
Yeah. Yeah. You could clearly see it. I was thinking yes, that was it, but I think yes. So just go with power.
And now Jennifer Kujo. On the second time of asking, Jennifer Kujo goes the same direction,
but this time around
with a bit more power
and precision. That is what saves she, and wow, she's glad. You know, she's been saved by the VR.
And well, Jennifer Kujo, Kim Lasbeke can't afford to stand up at this point.
I don't know why they go for the casual kicks when they can actually hit it hard.
This was a long walk to the sports kick for Super Sweeney. Number 12 for South Africa. She scored against the Black Queens from open play for the second goal. And she'll be hoping to do so from 12 yards out. Super Sweeney. She needs to score to keep her side, her team, her country in this one. Super Sweeney. She goes to the right-hand side of Cynthia Conlan.
They were just going to pick one spot and dispatch all the penalties through. And you know, she just got it. Well, Ghana with the final kick. Hopefully, that was very much good for her. But Conlan has done her best. She picked 2 right spots and she made 2 saves. So it's just left with the players to do their bit too. The final player, I don't know whether it's Evelyn Bedu coming for it again, because she played the last kick. I don't know, or Princella Dubia coming for it.
It will be the turn of Nancy Amo. It looks like Nancy Amo will have the decider in this tie. Chantel cannot afford to look. She's hiding. She's turned away from the sports cakes. Nervy moments. But then again, it falls down to Nancy Amo.
A 19-year-old.
The 19-year-old with the hopes of
what a distance.
The Ghanaians. And a run-up from Nancy Amo. And she scores! And the Black Queens do this justice as a celebration to Diogo Jota from Nancy Amo, but it's victory at the end of the rainbow for the Black Queens. They clawed their way back from a fortuitous goal that was given away by Cynthia Conlan, and talk about getting a redemption story. Cynthia Conlan redeemed herself in the sport takes, true save from the sports, and Nancy Amo with the final kick, the telling kick, seals the third place prize for the Black Queens at the expense of the former defending champions, South Africa, for the second time. The last time this happened was in 2016, and now lightning has struck twice, and already Comfort Yeboah, who couldn't afford to continue the game, is celebrating. Cynthia Conlan, you know what this means for her after committing that howler. And so they can afford to celebrate. Came last, Bioke going with a smile on his face. Well, it's his very first Wafcon with this side, and he got to third place. So knowing very well that this is third, next time out he'll be hoping for either second or maybe even first. And Kelvin Uswansa,
you can clearly see the joy in the team. Adrabayo, who is the equipment officer, yes, together with Nasamu, getting close to her. Alex Gusi is a judge, woman of the match, and I think player of the match. She did her best to score, and then the number of chances she decided to create, we're just grateful for the team. But I think I've been impressed overall with what